Hello everybody, this is Mr. Huether here. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to use Respondus Lockdown Browser. Oftentimes students try to access a proctored assessment and they may not have had any familiarity with using Lockdown Browser and run into problems. So hopefully with today's video, we'll clarify just what that process is and how to submit a good looking video for Respondus proctoring. So to start, this is a view of my computer here, and you see I've got this Lockdown Browser app installed, so you'll want to be sure to follow the appropriate instructions for your machine, whether you're using Windows or Mac, to get this downloaded onto your computer. Those instructions can be found in Blackboard under the Proctored Assessments tab, so there's instructions there for how to download and access that. Also in those instructions, it'll detail how to use Respondus, so any of the information that I'll be covering today is found also in that Proctored Assessments tab of Blackboard. So I'm going to start by just clicking on my Lockdown Browser, and you'll see it'll give you a little pop-up here, just making sure that you want to use this app. We'll hit yes. That'll bring this screen. Now, if you have any apps that are open running on your computer, Respondus will tell you what that app is. So in this case, we've got this Beyond Trust remote support app that's running in the background. So the Lockdown Browser is going to make sure that any background processes get closed down before you can continue with your exam. So it's important that we hit close process for anything that pops up. And then that'll bring you to the Blackboard login page. So we'll put in our U-Link credentials here just to sign in. And then once we're signed into Blackboard, it'll just be business as usual. So we'll head over to Courses and click on your section. And now from here, this is a very common mistake that students make. They'll click on this Hawks Learning tab to access Hawks Learning and to get signed in and to get started on your quiz. For proctored assessments, though, you cannot access Hawks Learning through this link, or else your proctored quiz won't let you take the exam. So what you need to do is head over to this Proctored Assessments tab. Again, this is the tab where you'll find instructions for downloading and accessing Respondus Lockdown Browser. Those are located here. But to actually get to Hawks so that you can take your exam, remember, within the Proctored Assessments tab, we're going to click on this Proctored Assessments webcam link, okay? And that'll sort of get the process going for Respondus to start doing your environment and webcam checks. So it'll bring you up to this page. You may see a page that says, oh, well, you've already submitted an exam attempt through Respondus. If you see anything like that, just click a button that says Start New Attempt. In this case, I don't have that popping up, so I'll just hit Begin. All right, and then this will begin the sort of Lockdown Browser steps that you need to go through so that you can get your proctoring video sent in. So we'll agree to this agreement. Okay. The first thing that it'll do is check that your webcam's working. So it'll ask if you see your image, say yes, ask you to record a 5-second video where you just talk. So I'm going to talk, and then the timer ends. Where you just talk. All right. Once that's good, you can hit continue. And then you'll want to read through these instructions. It'll prompt you through some things to make sure of, so do read through all these, but basically just eliminate any distractions that you might have. Be sure that you're not in a noisy environment or anything like that. Then it's going to prompt you for a student photo. So this, you just want to take a picture of your face, and that'll send it in. And then you want to hold up a picture of your student ID in the second photo. And then that way we can just corroborate that, yes, you are indeed who you are. I don't have my ID, so I'm going to be empty-handed in my picture. All right. Then that will move on to the environment check. Now, this is a very crucial piece to submitting your video. So you need to run through all of these steps or else I can't grade your attempt, because I need to be sure that you're in a distraction-free environment, that you don't have any inappropriate materials. So you'll want to give a 360 view of your room as best you can. If you can't take your webcam up, you might just hold up your laptop or something like that, just so that we can get a little bit of a view of the room. You want a view of the tabletop, the area where you're working. That is really important. And also a video of your lap. I know that's a little awkward, but we'll show all that. And then you want to show your calculator that you'll be using. Remember, graphing calculators won't be allowed. And you also want to show your cell phone. And more importantly, you want to show your cell phone being put away. So ideally, you'd have a bag that you would hold up as well and show yourself putting the phone in the bag. But if you can't do that, then just very clearly putting it away on a table would be another good idea. Just so that we know, hey, this phone is not in anywhere near you. All right, so I'm going to start recording, and you'll kind of see here in this little window here what this video is going to look like. Okay, so once we are recording, I'm going to take my camera, and like I said, just show a general view of your room. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, okay? But then you want to show your desk. So we can see here that I've got my calculator here, blank sheet of scratch paper. Be sure to show that it is indeed blank. Okay. My phone's out, so I'd want to be sure to put that away, but of course I'm using that right now to record. But there's nothing else on my desk. So I'm going to go ahead and return my video camera back into its place. Okay. And then I would also show my lap, of course, too, but my room's kind of dark, so I can't show that right now. The important thing is, again, showing that that cell phone is out of sight, but we're not going to have that in this video. Okay. All right. So then I stop recording, and then it'll replay the video. So you just want to be sure that you're checking, you know, all those boxes off. You want to be sure that, you know, you showed everything that you need to. If everything looks good, then you can hit continue. And then Hawks is going to ask for a facial detection check. So you just want to be sure that your face is clearly in view, and you want to have that in view throughout the exam. So that is one important piece there. But then once you've done all that, you've done all the work to get started on your exam. So we'll hit begin exam. And then that brings us actually back to Blackboard, okay? And so now we are going to click on this link right here to bring us to Hawks Learning. And so now from here, I'll just type in my login credentials for Hawks. And then that'll bring me to my to-do list, you know, just as usual. Now you may want to check if your instructors changed the due date on your quiz. It might be, you know, hidden below here in your little blue lessons. So here I see quiz 2. So that is a proctored quiz. So I want to click on that. And you can see it ran a really quick check just to be sure that, hey, is Respondus working? And then if it is, it'll bring you to this screen. So if you don't have Respondus pulled up, this is, you know, where it'll say, uh-oh, you need to go back and get into Respondus and redo all this. Now we can see I've already done a previous attempt, but that's fine. You get unlimited attempts on any quizzes in this class, so no worries there. I'm just going to hit start. And then that'll begin the exam. And so I would just fill this out as usual. You'll have a timer here showing how much time you have remaining. an important feature to take note of is that in Respondus, you do have access to a calculator. So it shows up right up here next to this little magnifying glass icon. So if you click on that, it'll bring up a scientific calculator. So if you don't have a basic or scientific calculator, this is another way that you could still have access to that. So just be sure that you don't have any graphing calculators or any calculator apps from a cell phone, because cell phones would not be allowed on the exam. So I'm going to go through my exam. Once I'm happy with how that's looking, I'll hit submit assignment. Say yes, submit assignment. And obviously I didn't answer anything, so I got a score of 0 on this assignment. That's okay. So then I'll just hit back to course. If I wanted to do another attempt at the proctored quiz, it would certainly be fine, but we would need to close out of Respondus first. You have 2 ways of doing that. Sometimes it'll keep the Blackboard page open right here. And in fact, may do this. If I hit back enough, it might take me back to Blackboard. And it doesn't look like it's doing that for me right now. That's certainly fine. So if you still have the Blackboard tab open here, you can click on that and then from there close out of the exam, and that'll end your Respondus session. Or you can simply click on this X right here. Now, when you click on that X, it'll give you this little warning prompt. And so it'll just be sure that you've completed your exam. So we're done. So we're going to go ahead and just say close the browser. Now, when you close the browser, it'll prompt you to give a reason as to why you're closing it. And so you can just say something like exam completed or something like that. Save reason and close browser. Click on that. And then just like that, Respondus is closed. That'll submit your video. Now, your video could take up to 12 hours to process before I even see it on my end of Blackboard. So do keep that in mind. But if you need to complete another attempt at the quiz, that's certainly fine. You would just need to run through this whole process over again so that you can access your quiz and, fill out as many attempts of that quiz as you need until you pass. So do keep in mind that sort of the best practice would be to, for every quiz attempt, you're going to open up a new Lockdown Browser session because once that quiz gets going in Respondus, you do have a timer. So by reopening Lockdown Browser sessions with each attempt, you're going to be sure that you have the maximum amount of time afforded to you for the exam. So that's really all I have to share with you all. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to reach out to me, or if you're in another section, reach out to your instructor. Hope you have a nice day. Bye-bye.